Well, good morning to you, Faith Family and Free Enterprise followers. If you are seeing this, I want to appreciate you and thank you for tuning in. Let you know I appreciate you, and thank you for tuning in real quick. Just wanted to share a thought with you. It's been a while since I've made a video, and yes, I am wearing my hunting jacket. It is in the 40s this morning. Not super duper cold, but chilly enough. And I am sitting in a deer stand, so I'm not actually hunting myself. I'm getting a little bit closer to nature, if you will. And family's out on spring break. We're doing some glamping. And just wanted to take some moments this morning. The Lord was doing some working in my heart, and I was reading some passage here that you'll see in Daniel chapter 4 about Nebuchadnezzar. And spoiler alert, if you're in my men's Bible study, we're going to be discussing this a little bit later. But anyway, brief and to the point, I want to keep this short. God is so big. And when you get around nature, you get alone with God, you just cannot help but see the immensity, the vastness, the immeasurableness of who God is. You see all of these things around you that are happening. And I'm going to try and do this if I can. The sunrise happening over there. Ooh, wow. And huge vastness. Oh, there's my coffee. Of the sky above us, all around us. You think of all this stuff that's happening around you, and none of it depends on me. None of it. It all just happens. God orchestrates. God takes care of all of that. He is all sufficient. He is all powerful. He is all everything. Well, Nebuchadnezzar had to learn that the hard way. And this is one of the things that made me think of this, because he was out in nature like this for 7 years. I want to read this passage to you here, if I can move this out of the way here. At the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto heaven, and mine understanding returned unto me. And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion. His kingdom is from generation to generation, and all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. That means they're not necessary to do what God does. They're reckoned as compared to him, we're reckoned as nothing. And doeth according to his will. This is God again. He doeth according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand. Nobody can hold him back, or say unto him, What doest thou? Hey, what do you think you're doing? At the same time my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom mine honor and brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my lords sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth, and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride he is able to abase. The reason I wanted to share this with you guys a little bit, this thought with you, with y'all, guys and gals, it is so easy for us to think of ourselves more highly than we ought to think. Not just in comparison to other people. I mean, just pride is what I'm talking about here. Us depending on us relying on us. Have you ever stopped and looked around and be like, yeah, look what I just did. Look what I just accomplished. This is awesome, right? Stop yourself. That is the exact problem Nebuchadnezzar had. Let me go back up here a little bit and see what Nebuchadnezzar said. And the king spake and said, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power, and for the honor of my majesty? And while the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee. So, let me share a word of caution, obviously, but a word of just, it's such a beautiful thing to rely and trust on God alone. To just stop trying to be in control. of everything because we can't. We're terrible at it. I mean, how many times do we mess things up when we go our own way? And that's why I love the end of what Nebuchadnezzar says here. All whose works are truth. Everything God does is truth. Absolute truth. In our society, in our day and age, that is such a needed thing. Because there is this massive postmodern or post-postmodernist philosophy that says, what is truth? That's your truth. That's not my truth. All God does is truth. It is self-evident throughout all of history, there is a God. And what he does is truth. But then also, his ways, judgment. That means every choice he makes, every path he takes, that rhymes. It reminds me of a song. Are pure. They're perfect. He makes no mistakes. His judgment, his discernment is spot on. He is the very definition of judgment. Everything that we think is not just that God does, guess what? We're wrong. He's right. His ways, judgment. So let me encourage you with this. We don't have to be in control. We can trust in him. And let me challenge you with this. Whenever you start thinking you know better, whenever you start thinking, but I know this sin will make me happy, trust and obey. Trust and obey. Look, we cannot do better than what God has planned. And he gave us the guidebook on how to live this thing called life. So just trust him. Obey him. Whenever you need a reminder of how big and how vast God is, get alone with God. Step outside into a walking trail or find something where you can just unplug for a little bit, put the phone on mute, or turn it off completely, and just listen. And be still and know that he is God. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope it's an encouragement. Hope it's a challenge to you. I know it is to me. Stop relying on self. Start trusting and obeying what God has planned. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless.